So we're going to go leaders or readers. I'm just going to give you my top couple books that have moved the needle for me and most business owners. Now, this is not just a Jeremy thing. These are really big books that every business owner should read, and it's probably pretty. There are going to be some obvious ones, like and there's going to be a couple of surprises in here. Okay. The obvious ones, though, you probably didn't read because they've been around forever, but you just I've heard of it. But open it up, read it, and if you haven't read it lately, read these again. These you should be reading over and over and over. So obviously, the very first one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now we're going to go off with self-help with these first few books. The first one was written by Napoleon Hill, 1937. It was impacts millions and millions of entrepreneurs. There's actually a little bit of controversy around this about whether or not he actually did get the idea to write this from Andrew Carnegie or not. Whatever the case is, though, this book has helped millions of people. John Maxwell has it on his must-read list. Good enough for me, right? My family and I, we all read this thing. This thing was really great. It's been out for, since 1937, 90-something, going on 90, 80-something years. All right, can't be all that bad. It's got to work. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, another just must-read, right? Stephen Covey. I'll give you the 7 habits right now, right? Be proactive. Focus and act on what you can control and influence instead of what you can't. All right, that's a mic drop right there, man. That one changed my life. And that it was done before I read this book. It was just something that I did. I went from reactive to proactive as a result of 7 words told to me twice in my life, one at 20 and one at 22. But when I found out what I did, I was like, oh, that's what it is. This is proactive, man. It changed everything for me. Number 2 is beginning with the end in mind. I talk about that all the time with my new business owners, coming up with that exit strategy. Any plan you do, long-term, short-term, you got to have the end in mind. You can't start something until you understand what the end looks like. 3, put first things first. Prioritize and achieve your most important goals. You're going to hear that a few times by the people that I read, and I think every business owner should read, and pretty much a must read if you're working for me or with me. You have to read these books. Important goals instead of consistently reacting to things is prioritize, and then you'll achieve your important goals. Now, think win-win. This is number 4. Think win-win. Collaborating more effectively by building high trust relationships. This is a big one, but for me, I really go to Voss, Chris Voss, VOS. He's negotiator for the FBI. And he wrote a bunch of sales books about negotiations. So check out Chris Voss, Think Win-Win. He's got some stuff to say about that. Pretty much the same thing, but his stuff is amazing. Number 5 is seek to understand first. I got this one is huge to me. Always try to be more interested than interesting. Stephen Covey says is seek to first understand, then be understood. That's what he says. Influence others by developing a deep understanding of their needs and perspectives. I saw a TEDx not too long ago. It was called Don't Take the Exit. And I forget the guy's name. Don't Take the Exit. I think it's Terry something. I got to look it up. Probably my second or third favorite TEDx talk. And that's where I got that be more interested than interesting from. So shout out to Don't Take the Exit TED Talks. Write that up in your Google later there on YouTube and watch those 7 or I think it's 18 minutes. But it's an excellent one. Number 6 is synergize, right? Developing innovative solutions that leverage differences and satisfies all key stakeholders. Synergy, we think it's dead these days in our political world, right? We can't talk anything either for me or against me. But in business, you better be able to work with your key stakeholders. I walked away from a deal because I couldn't see myself working with these guys. So, it's a great deal. I wish them the best of luck. I just didn't see myself in that world. The synergy just wasn't there. So I chose this. I chose this, and I'm very happy I did. And the last thing for Covey is sharpen the saw. Increase motivation, energy, work-life balance, make time for renewing activities. I mean, this energizes me. I mean, I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. I fell back to sleep about 4:30 to 6-ish. Come to work. I'm here at 8 p.m. Going to be here till 9 p.m. It's a live stream. Going to go over there and do some stuff for tomorrow's links. Going to download this. Going to write some notes before I forget it while it's fresh in my head. Be home at 10 o'clock. I wouldn't say that's pretty balanced, but that's one night a week. Rest of the night, I try to be home, have some dinner with the family. Try not to come here on Sundays. Even Saturdays, I haven't been here in a while. So, we're getting it. We're getting there. All right. So, again, I read this years and years and years ago, but writing this for this show, for this speech, it activates these memories and go, damn, I got to examine this. You should be reading these books before you just go on to some other ones that might be aren't as good. Reread some of these classics. Okay. So now we're going from some of the brains to some of the brawn. All right. We talked about David Goggins a few weeks ago. With Jonathan Keith when he was here doing our real estate special. Cant Hurt Me, David Goggins. I mean, come on, man. It just doesn't get better than David Goggins yelling at you. That's right, in his audiobook. It's the best ever. Look up Joe Rogan and David Goggins. He has 2 episodes together. They're both amazing. But Cant Hurt Me tells us what it takes to transform ourselves and how we only use 40% of our potential. And if you look kind of closely there, you'll see there's a bigger shadow of him behind himself. He was a big, fat dude, and he lost a lot of weight to get into the Navy, to then end up getting onto the Navy SEALs. And that whole story is crazy. He had to go 3 times through Hell Week. Great, crazy book, but it is so motivational. So we went from like the self-help to more now motivational. And not motivational, because David would be the first to tell you motivation doesn't work. So how to develop drive, how to reach your potential by learning how to forget about motivation and then create drive. And you do that by knowing your whys, drilling down deep, deep, deep on your whys. So let's go from one Navy SEAL to my other favorite Navy SEAL, and that is Jocko Willink. I mean, come on. If you haven't read Extreme Ownership, you need to read it. You must read it before you work with me on how Navy SEALs lead to win. But this book really covers how the battlefield principles translate to business success. All right. His top 4 rules of leadership, which are kind of, I should get it tattooed on my arm here. It's cover and move, prioritize and execute, then keep it super simple, and decentralized command. Those 4 things help me shape and create $60 million businesses across the United States and the Caribbean. Period. End of story. Exclamation point. The only way I could build $60 and $70 million businesses across the United States and Caribbean with me traveling only one place at a time, right? I'm human. I can only be in one place at a time. It's cover and move, prioritize and execute, keeping it simple, and decentralized command. Period. This book helped me shape my life, my business life. So thank you, Jocko. By the way, Jocko, David Goggins, most of these people I'm talking about, if you got an in with any of these guys, I would love to have them on my show. I'd love to be on their shows. Share the love, right? I never asked. So here's my officially asking for Jocko, for Leaf, for David Goggins. This guy here, Patrick, we're going with brawn, but now we're kind of tilting into business. He's literally 2 miles from me. I've got this actual book is the book that I have autographed by him, and I saw him the other day, but not a lot of FaceTime with Patrick because he is so busy. But I was in his shop there. He's got his studio is literally 2 miles from my studio. His is better. Everything is his is better, bigger, better, badder. But you're watching me, so I'm happy about that. But watch him. Check him out. Patrick Bet David, your next 5 moves. It's from brawn to business. Patrick is 6'5", 6'4", used to be a bodybuilder, was in the U.S. Army. So he's no pushover. But when it comes to business, this dude's got it, man. He's my guy. I'm going to his summit over here in September 1st here at the Diplomat in Hollywood Beach, Hallandale Beach. But planning your next 5 moves sets you up for success and allows you to deal with the unexpected because you've already planned for those possibilities. So basically that's what I got out of that book. All right. These are very high level. Go for No. Old book. This one's ancient, but it's just it's a go-to. It's the easiest read out of all the bunch of them. And it's a fable. Fable is a made-up story about a salesman. And what he did was he went when he finally realized what going for no, right? He was afraid of the no's, right? So he didn't want the no's. So he was not putting out his best performances because he didn't want to get the no's. But when he realized the trick is that for every no, you're just a little bit closer to that yes, then things changed for him. And just like baseball, where the guys with the most home runs, right? The guys with all the dingers, they've also got the highest percentage of strikeouts, right? The guys who are on base the most, right? They've got a lot of strikeouts. These are the same principles that sales uses. It's a numbers game. The more no's you get, the more yeses you're going to get. So it's a it's a fable. Speaking of fable, these last two people, one time I was talking with Kenny Chesney. He told me the worst thing you do is be a name dropper, right? So I'm not going to say that these next two people are Floridians and they're very, very friendly with me. I'm first name basis, know them both very, very well. Participate in their groups, heavily follow them, mentors of mine. I just do anything for either one of these guys. But Bob Berg, come on, man. The go-giver, that's another fable about giving people what they want. If you give enough people what they want, you then will get everything that you could ever have or hopeful in life. And finally, my man, my guy, right? Steve Nudelberg, Confessions of a Serial Salesman, and his 27 rules for influencers and leaders. Here are my particularly favorites. No surprise, waking up early is there. Read and write, listening to music, making it a habit to smile. Got to do that because I got look like I want to kill you face. Lucky is for those who aren't prepared. It's all about time, and networking is only one letter away from not working. One of my favorites. In fact, that's where we got ROR from. That's where we get a lot of our stuff from, right? It's from Steve in this book. So 27 rules, definitely one to check out. Thanks for watching that video segment. If you enjoyed it and like to see more content just like that one, click over here. If you'd like to see that video in its entirety, click over here. Thank you.